Hey guys!
Hi,
Hey.
how you doing?
Ooh, what's with the creepy backgrounds? I'm
We're
scared.
all outside.
Right? Look at us.
Well, I don't know. Where are you, Alex?
I have no idea. I thought I was outside. I like stumbled upon this shed, and there's a bunch of these like baby doll things hanging out. So
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought it was like catacombs, and then I realized they were all babies, and I was like, oh no.
that could be creepy within itself, right? Like, let's say some creepo made a catacomb of like dead baby dolls.
That
I
would
don't
be
think baby dolls are supposed to be alive.
They're not supposed to be.
That's what makes it creepy.
Now you got it. You're following me, Kristen.
Yeah. So what's going on?
So I think today's episode, we're going to talk about some huntings around our neck of the woods on our different coasts.
It all makes
Respectively.
sense now.
Full
Coming
circle.
together. So
Thank you
Kendra and I
go ahead.
were talking about something that is kind of spooky, and outside of ghosts is our market nutrition rates. How if there's no more inventory or new construction, and most
Did you
of our
call it
markets,
nutrition rates?
isn't it called like the market nutrition?
Absorption.
I heard nutrition.
What the hell?
Okay, we'll say absorption. The market absorption rate. If there is no new construction or new inventory, I think most of us will be out of homes within a month. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. Mine's like 1.5 months. No, not even like 1.1 months. So like you got a month and a week.
That's spooky.
Does that mean that the market is healthy, or the market needs to gain weight, or
I think
how's
the
their
market needs to gain
nutrition?
a little weight.
Oh, okay.
When I first moved to Jacksonville, I think about like a year and a half, let's say 2 years ago, I think we were at like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
So
the seller's market is what? 5? Don't quote me on that, but
could be, yeah. I think around like 5, because yeah, you're saying like 5-6 months before you actually are like selling a home.
and we're at 1, so it's definitely a
Yeah.
seller's market.
Yeah.
Still.
Nothing's sticking
Spooky.
around.
If you're a buyer, it's spooky. I'm sorry. I made 2 mistakes.
You have coffee yet today, Alex?
I have. That's my issue.
Oh, okay. Your brain's moving too fast.
That's exactly what it is. No, but
It's
for
usually,
real, guys.
it's just a monkey hitting a drum in my brain.
You're gonna have so many opportunities to put sound effects in this when you edit it, Alex. I'm so excited for you.
Same here. I like sound. I like adding sound effects.
No, but for real. So I want to thank Kristen. Do you remember who actually commented for us to do a haunted series, haunted
Yeah.
episode?
I think it was Jared Jacob.
All right. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for the recommendation. And as you can see, we are all ready. So we've done some research in our areas. Every one of us has a little unique spin on things that are haunted. I want to start off. Florida, you do not have to disclose if any sort of death has occurred in a house. So keep
What
that
the
in mind
hell?
when we're talking about this.
Wow,
Florida's a little crazy, and we don't even need to fill out a seller's disclosure in Florida. You still have to disclose things, but you don't have to do that seller's disclosure.
how is this my first time hearing about this?
Well, Alex, you learn new things every day.
Every day.
I
That's
know
what
it. I know in commercial of land, there's a disclosure, and do you guys know if that's supposed to be part of there? Because I know there is like a disclosure where, but you're saying if anything were to happen to negative, like be negative for that like piece of land, that you have to like disclose that. But I guess technically, if someone was like murdered there and it wasn't,
Yeah, that's not one of the things.
You
yeah,
do not have to disclose any deaths. If you know like mold or something is happening in a home or like a commercial building, yes, you absolutely have to disclose that. So,
yeah.
but
And things that people can't like see right away. If there's anything hidden, you have to tell them about it still,
yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Yep.
That is really wild, because like sometimes like I feel like there's like property out there where I'm always joking. I'm like, oh, this is built on like ancient like Native American grounds. That's why like the doors are always jamming or something. Like go to like a Walmart and it's like, I don't know, Maybe it's
That's what we're going over today.
maybe just crappy construction. I don't know.
Don't
I
ruin
mean,
our
just
feelings, Alex.
Alex, you literally live in or near one of the most haunted cities in the
Yes.
United States.
Yes, I do.
So,
I
why don't you kick us off? Tell us a
Wanna
little
kick
bit
it
about
off?
where you're at.
do. Okay. Well, I'm gonna add this for like theatric effects. Okay, give me 1 second. Hey.
All right, let's go.
Love it.
So where are we going? Where do you think I'm going with this? To the bar?
To the bar.
Are you going to the bar? I mean,
I could. I think
Field trip.
I haven't yet, but I will.
you
With
get a
this
lot
or
of fun
without.
too.
So I put this head on to talk about Castello D San Marcos. And I don't know if I'm being historically accurate with this pirate hat, because I know it's mostly a Spaniard fort, but maybe they were fighting off pirates as myself, and I can be a representation of those hauntly spirits that are haunting the Castello di San Marcos. So if you don't mind, I will just read here from some information I have about it, and then we can discuss. So it says it's the largest masonry structure of its kind in the United States. It was built in the 17th century, and it has withstand storms and battles for more than 300 years. They say that each year, supernatural enthusiasts flock to investigate events that happen at or around the structure itself. There's been reports of seeing lights that are shining from some of the guard towers, even though there's no electricity in the building itself at night.
Hey, Alex, did you say what city this was in?
This is in St. Augustine. I apologize
Okay.
if I didn't.
And then why is
In
St.
my
Augustine?
mind, I said St. Augustine.
Why is it
So-
like such a big thing? Like, why is it so touristy? Why?
Great questions. I'm glad you asked. Okay. Well, it's one of the it is the oldest city in the United States.
Uh-huh.
On top of that, you had the Spaniards who were on their quest of I don't know, expanding their lot and life and land. They stumbled across the United States. There were, Indians here, Native Americans here, which there were a lot of fighting, a lot of things that happened there, as well as then the wars that happened within, and then wars with the pirates. So it's a lot of history of fighting in pirates and Spaniards and early good old United States.
I've been at the fort that you're talking about, but I've also been at the Fountain of Youth.
Yep. The Fountain of Youth. That right? It was a Spaniard exploration that found that as well, supposedly.
I think so.
Possibly on.
Is that who found it?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty
That
sure.
sounds right.
It sounds
Yeah.
right.
I think
We'll
so.
fact check this later. We'll edit
Because-
that out if it's wrong.
We'll fact
No,
check.
we're gonna keep it. We'll keep it. I'll put like below like if it's correct or not, like correct. Like if it is gonna be good. So I thought I found the Fountain of Youth. Yeah, I thought it was called like Red Bull.
Yeah.
No.
You're not our sponsor.
We don't
So,
have to yet. People, hit us up.
what is really crazy though about this place? So, I was looking at more like for this segment, I wanted to look at just the haunted type of places around Jacksonville, and maybe a viewer could correct me on this, but I wasn't really able to find something that had more of a like history to it. I believe that urban legends are urban legends, but I like to find things that were like something very like dramatic actually happened to that soil, like that land, and just kind of like not just like once, but like over a period of time. Where in St. Augustine, you had a lot of this just nastiness, where you had like torture chambers, dungeons, etc., where visitors who go, I guess you can go and visit some of these like dungeons. They say like they'll feel like a cold hand grip their hand or something like this, which that could be debatable, but I do feel if it's an area where there's a lot of that type of energy, it tends to stay there.
Mhm.
You feel
Just
it
my 2
typically,
cents.
right? No, like you do. I mean, whether or not it's a ghost or it's just your energy, like the bad energy is trapped there, you feel it in these areas, you know. We did some ghost tours out in St. Augustine, and we learned about the hotel that Henry Flagler built. And apparently he was a guy that messed around with a lot of women, and he was married. And so his wife actually killed herself in the Flagler Hotel. And supposedly she still haunts it to this day. So that's pretty cool too.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Pretty cool.
I love St. Augustine. It's such a cool city. If you guys haven't been, I highly suggest you go to our viewers.
I've never been on a ghost tour, but I love it during the holidays, the lights, like the city
Beautiful.
lights and stuff up. And it's really awesome to see that aspect of it. But yeah.
And the horse and
That's a
carriages.
little downtown.
So
right.
with that being said, Kristen, you want to take us to Tampa?
Oh, sure. I'm kind of in between these two areas. So I had a couple of them. I'm like in the Tarpon area. So Brooksville is actually north of me, but they have the May Stinger House, which was actually turned into the Hernando Historical Museum. But this one, it was a smaller house, actually. It was like a 4-room house in 1855. And they said that there's at least 11 ghosts there. And the guy who built it died from tuberculosis 3 years after. And then his wife gave birth. She remarried, got pregnant, gave birth, and she died during childbirth. And then the child who she gave birth to actually died as well a couple years after that. So there was a lot of tragedy that happened, but they're not sure if there's over 50 enslaved people buried there as well. So there's a whole lot going on there, but that's just a little summary. And then I'm slightly north of Clearwater, and that's where the Capitol Theater is. I don't know if you've ever heard of like Ruth Eckerd Hall or anything. That's over in Safety Harbor. I've been there as well. But my son and I actually went to go see Dawes play at Capitol Theater a few years ago, and they said that there's a few ghosts there. One of them, my son went to the bathroom. And when he came back, they were talking about the sea captain. And so I completely forgot about that until we were asked to do this episode. And I was looking and I was like, oh yeah, Capitol Theater. So I don't know if someone's hanging out at the bathroom for any reason, but yeah. And then they were saying that
I have a question for you, Kristen.
What?
So I have a question for you. So you said that there's reportedly 11 ghosts. Or there's like
place in Brooksville?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question is it a possibility that this could be like one actual like spirit pretending to be different like ghost, or they're like, no, this is.
They say that there's at least 11 separate ghosts.
Okay.
And that there's like a girl who like they can hear her crying. They don't know if it's the kid who died there or what. But yeah, there's supposedly at least 11. And there was another family that moved in there after this original family, and they made it larger than it was at first. So it's actually like, it's a pretty big place. You can look it up online. We can put these in the comments and stuff so people can check it out. But yeah, no. I enjoyed
really
the
cool
concert at Capitol Theater, though. I didn't see anything, but no, they said that a man apparently got like murdered in the balcony or something at some point in time. So I don't know, but
do you feel it when you went there? Like any like different energy going on?
Not particularly there. I've been to some places though. I mean, I'm from Maine. Like they always said Fort Knox was haunted there.
I think you need like a bumper sticker that says I'm from Maine.
I'm from Maine.
Like a t-shirt, I'm from Maine.
I'm from Maine.
We should get a t-shirt.
Well, we have a lot of like old houses and stuff there that have like a lot of history and everything. So I don't know. Like my best friend, when she bought her house, she doesn't even know what year it was built in. She's like, all that it said was 1800 something. there's nothing like
Yeah.
actually listed.
Have you guys ever heard about these stories? That's a really good point. I heard these like stories about like people like buying property and then finding like a room, like an extra room like in the property. And I even heard stories where people bought property, someone's like actually living, not a spirit, but actually a real person is living in that like extra room, and they're like at night they'll come and like eat food out of the refrigerator and stuff like that. Like I think there is a guy who like left a camera inside of his house because he felt that there was like dishes and stuff that like he didn't leave out, and like food that was like being left out. And so he left a camera out, and I guess it was like, I don't know, some like squatter that when the house sold, they like stayed in this like secret room. It would like come out to like eat like at night.
I would just blame my son.
Explain this.
I think they made a movie about that actually. I mean, it's not necessarily a room. The guy lived in the walls of the home, but it was like the same situation. It was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I can't
We
remember
do
what
have
the movie's
like
called.
a lot of like secret door little pathway things, hallways and whatnot in like old houses like that. So I wouldn't be surprised.
So a question for you two, answer it in all honesty, is if you can. Let's say you did, I don't know, you got this like amazing listing, right? You're like, oh, okay, cool, I got this like listing, and you're there kind of getting like a CMA, or you're trying to get like some information on the house. You did find this like, I don't call it like a trap door, but like a secret room that even the homeowner didn't know about. Like, would you guys go in and explore it?
If I had somebody with me, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that stuff. I like to see
Alex.
what's behind.
He just paused on my end.
Alex,
got,
would
a little,
you?
got a little bit choppy, but Kendra was fine and I was fine. It looks
Oh,
like you're,
I
yeah,
got choppy.
yeah. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
I heard what you
Yeah.
said though. You said that you weren't sure.
Yeah.
Alex, would you?
If you, because I'm like, you know, talking to you girls, I'm like, yeah, sure I would, but to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't. I'm like, that's above my pay grade, you know. Maybe I'll call Kendra. I'm like, hey Kendra, you're not too far away from here, right?
There you go.
You want to come check this out?
I would, and we would do it together. Like, it scares the crap out of me, but I'm a huge believer, like, nobody can take my energy if I don't approve it, right? So, like, if you're in a bad situation, like, I'm one of those weirdos. I like talks to myself, and I'm like, look, you can't take my energy, like, leave me alone, kind of thing. I'm 100% that person. But I would still be so scared. But I would.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it wouldn't just be that. It would just be like, because I do believe also in like symbolism, stuff like that. Like if you were just to see something that's like outright like creepy, like on the walls, it's hard to like unsee some things, right? So just seeing something like so creepy would even like, that's something that will like, you know, over time would, you know, quote unquote like leave your system. But I think that just seeing something like, I don't know, like very nasty
Alex.
would. Sorry.
And the man who's like this in front of baby heads.
Talking about creepy symbolism.
And you're like, that's baby head.
Well, on that note, let me talk about Volusia County and what we got going on.
Is this a belly button? This is a belly button?
What is that?
I think there's a belly button. I'm hoping. He's an Audi. This one has an Audi.
We're fucking going to hell. I don't know if I can cuss. We're going to hell. But
like
anyway.
This.
Anyways.
Take it away.
So Volusia County, we have one of the most known spiritual camps. It's called Castello. It's between Deltona and DeLand. If anybody's familiar with Volusia County, you've probably heard of Castello. Castello is very old, and it was founded in like 1876 by a medium who traveled down from New York. Supposedly he had a spirit guide who was a Native American. His name was Sanaka, that actually is the one that told him to come down here, right? And so that's where they landed. A lot of people did not like that all of these spiritual beings were coming into this one location in their town. So folklore says that they would do satanic rituals, things like this. If you go to the town now, it's just a lot of people that believe in spirituality. Obviously, it's a spiritual camp. So just getting in tune with themselves and nature and, you know, your spirit guides and things like that. So nothing like crazy. Tourists are actually not allowed to come into the city after dusk, unless you're on like a ghost tour. They do ghost tours every Saturday at 7:30. But if you're not part of that, you are not allowed in the city after dusk till dawn. Yeah, Halloween, they shut down completely. You're not allowed to go on Halloween night or All Hallows Eve, which is Halloween Eve, because people would go and just ruin the city, right? Like ruin the town. Cassadaga doesn't have an actual cemetery, but people will misinterpret Lake Helen, which is a city right next door. They literally like share a border, has a cemetery. And so a lot of people think that this is part of Cassadaga. It is not, but there is the Devil's Chair at the Lake Helen Cemetery, which is pretty crazy. There's a lot of folklore around that as well. And supposedly if you sit in this chair, I've sat in this chair before and I've not felt anything. But if you sit in the chair, the devil is supposed to appear to you. And a lot of people have said that this has happened to them. I'm not sure, but like I said, I've sat in this chair, you know, when I was younger and it's not done anything. But it is fun to tell the little ghost stories. But it is really cool. So if you're into spirituality, I highly recommend Cassadaga. You can get your palms read. You can have, like seances, things like that. So it's really cool town. You can buy crystals.
I don't want to cut you off, but is the palm reading, is that done by like a quote unquote like gypsy, or is it just kind of like, okay?
Yep. They're all the real deal. So there has been people that were skeptics before they went in. And like you hear like certain people, like they just kind of pull strings, like general ideas of like what your life is, and then they can go in deeper, right? And that's like how most mediums are. But like these people will literally like pull the details at first. So like I believe in it, but not everybody does, and that's fair. But it's very interesting.
It's more than like, I'm sensing a man. His name might start with a J.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Maybe a
exactly.
P.
Like the
Peter.
Peter.
Yes, Peter.
Now, what about a P? What about?
If you're a real deal medium, typically you're not going to want publicity like that, right? Like you're going to want to live your life because, like, yes, it's a gift, but not everybody wants people coming up to them like, oh my God, give me a reading, give me a reading.
There can get people out there, apparently.
So Kendra, are you paying these people to be like, oh, I think there's a new house in your future, and you're going to be using this person, Kendra?
I'm totally underutilizing these folks. Like I should really be going and asking some of these psychics, like, hey, I'm going to bring somebody in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's also so I live in Deltona, Florida, right? And we had a pretty bad massacre happen here in 2004. And so the actual request was talking about haunted houses. So I want to talk about this particular house. They call it the Xbox murders or Deltona massacre. You'll find it either way with whatever you look up. But apparently 6 people were killed brutally back in 2004. It's very sad. My husband actually moved into this house after the murders happened. And they experienced some creepy stuff. His brother was probably 4 years old at the time that this happened. And there was a 17-year-old that was killed in the closet. And his little brother woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, freaking out because the little girl in the closet would not stop crying. And like that just gave you chills, right? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That crap is so scary. And then one of his best friends had stayed the night. And I guess they had a clothes hamper sitting in front of that same closet that fell over. Like there was no wind, there was nothing that would have caused it. His best friend ran out of the house and literally would never stay the night there again. So just different things. We were actually going to rent that house out after their family had moved away, which we didn't know about. And they still had some of the same doors. Like you could see where they like had tried to kick the doors in. Like they didn't change it. They got all the stuff off the walls and things like that. But Yeah, very, very sad situation, very scary. And there's definitely some energy still laying around there.
Yikes.
Whoa.
I wouldn't want to live there now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Same. But talk about not having to disclose things. When we were going to rent, the guy did tell my mom that, hey, this is where the massacres happened.
Oh, really?
Wow.
But I mean, that's one of those things. If you Google it, you're going to find the address, right? I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but all you have to do is look it up and you'll find where it happened.
Right.
You just have to find like the right buyer who wants to like buy a house like that. Someone's like, I want to like live in something like this going on in the background.
People like that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
people like it.
Or people who watch this and just laugh at us. And they're like, there's no such thing as ghosts. You guys are silly.
Hey, to each their own, right? Like, what do you think happens after? There's got to be something. Whether it's a ghost or energy, whatever you want to call it, there's something out there.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, there's ghost tours in St. Augustine. If you want to check it out.
Ghost tours are so fun. Like, so fun. I didn't know that Castello did ghost tours until I started looking into, a little bit yesterday. So I'm really considering doing a ghost tour at Castello too. I'll have to take a video and show y'all.
Pretty cool place.
It's awesome. I love it. Like, I'm big into like meditation and stuff. And so that's a big thing there. They also do like guided meditation ceremonies, things like that. And you can buy sound bowls, right, to align your chakras and stuff. So they're cool.
You take care of that.
Kendra, have you tried ever doing a deprivation? I think they're called like deprivation chambers, but they're like pods. I've done the pod thing, and it's amazing.
I've heard very good things about them. I do want to try them. They have a few places around here that
I think this is me like the realtor / like supernatural / like spiritual channel. I think that's what this is gonna become.
Until next week, there was something new.
Every week. But I think all the three of us are very spiritual. You know what I mean? Like whether we're not going to get into like religion on this channel or anything, but like spirituality is totally different. It's just like being in tune with yourself.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I would say one thing about all this, ghosts, spirits, whatnot. I can say from what I understand, my research is that as humans, we can only process so much information around us, and then when we are processing information, we have to put it in a way that our mind understands it, or else it just like does not make sense. Talking about the Spaniards and like the Native Americans and whatnot. The Native Americans thought that they were like seeing some dream with like clouds coming in because their minds couldn't grasp the concept of a sailboat, of these like huge like sail ships. So even though like they seen them, they were there and they were hanging out for like a while before they even like set land on what we know as like United States or what have you. They were having these visions, like they thought they were like visions of like clouds. But there was something like really there. It was, there was like these sailboats. So with that being said, I mean, like how much stuff is out there that, we just can't like process, or we just don't have the ability to process, especially us being, realtors and being, on call 24/7. I feel unfortunately, even like my house gets neglected. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that giant thing of trash sitting there, you get like tunnel vision. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I agree.
Didn't even think about that, but it makes complete sense. Yeah.
Definitely agree. Because like your brain ignores 90% of the things that is actually going on around you. So
correct. And I was watching like this really cool video where this professor is actually like showing this concept, right? It's like you can be in a room and there can be like 8 different conversations, and you can tune in on what conversation you want to hear. I think that's wild.
That is true, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Huh. The more you know.
The episode, Unsolved Mysteries. What is this? Well, I think that's our time. So
this was a very fun episode. So thank you so much for the recommendation.
Like and subscribe. Do my
let us know what else you want to see later. All right, guys. Well, take care, and please drop a comment below for what we should do in the future. And going forward, you will see a little bit more of our team coming into the mix also. So
Oh,
be on the
yeah,
lookout.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.